Staying on the topic of Kari Lake, she appeared in an interview with Steve Bannon, as she seems to live on the War Room podcast with Steve Bannon on Real America's Voice, and went after the media. And I want to take a look at these two moments here, and then talk about the larger point around this. Take a look.
It's the number one line in my resume. I'm not a politician.
But hang on a second. This is why they hate Trump, and this is why they hate you the most, because you're apostates.
Yes.
Trump was part of the system.
Yeah.
Trump became a billionaire because he's a tough real estate developer in the toughest place on earth, Midtown Manhattan. And he was a major media star with NBC.
True.
He knows the system. He knows the corruption, and he left it. That's why I hate him. You're in the beast itself, which is the media. You actually left the media because you knew the corruption. And now you're running for politician, running for governor, and you're enormously successful. More importantly,
which is the most dangerous, the media.
And by the way, they still say she's running for governor. Guys, she ran for governor. Unless she's talking about the next election, which she's not.
More dangerous than these morons on Capitol Hill. No offense to some of the nice people I met. I did meet some nice people today. The media is the most dangerous entity in the world right now. They're controlling what we know. They're controlling what goes in here. And that is incredibly dangerous. And they're lying to us. It's not so much even what they're telling us. It's what aren't they telling us. It's the number one line in my resume. I'm not a politician.
So we will, of course, discuss that in a second. But let me show you one more moment from the same interview.
All of the self-help you try to do to make yourself a better person, the wisdom is all there. And I found myself, while I was at home, anchoring the news, reading the scripts on my iPad during commercial breaks, just reading the Bible. Commercial break would end and I'd go, okay, I'm reading the truth, and now I got to go back to the lies, meaning the news. And that was kind of when I was deciding to leave my profession, because COVID, early in COVID, I started realizing there's something not right here.
I get that sometimes you accidentally stumble into a situation where you're dishonest and you regret it, so you leave the situation where you're being dishonest. Yeah, I guess that happens, but those types of stories of I was in the media, as she says, and on one side I had the Bible, the truth, the other side I had my script, the lies, and I was telling these lies and had to get away. As someone who, I don't read from a script, but I, do commentary, I wouldn't let lies leave my mouth. And then while I'm deciding if I want to leave that profession, I just continue to spew lies if I believe them to be lies. What really happened is she believed the things she was saying when she was a newscaster. And then she went, ooh, I want to be even more well-known. I want to have power. And right now, if you're just someone who doesn't have a record of serving people, or you're not an individual with qualifications that really make sense to run for Congress, or just a life story that resonates with people, policy issues you care about, you fought for, and that matter to you, and you're just kind of like, I want to be a Democratic politician, you probably won't be that successful. It's pretty rare. The Republican Party now, just celebrities and just anyone who will, especially within MAGA, lie about the election, can rise to prominence. And Kari Lake is an example of that. So she thought to herself, oh, I could do what Trump did and just lie. And I'm sure she believes some of the things she's saying, but create this character and put that character into power through running within the Republican Party. And that's what she did. And she was almost successful, and she could be in the future, unfortunately. And so this was just an opportunity for her, right? Because if the actual story is she was recognizing how dishonest she was having to be in the media, that to me comes off bizarre. Because again, each moment you choose the words that leave your mouth, and if you know you're lying, that to me shows you just have lower character than you should. But all around, the discussion I wanted to have about the media in regard to this is, it is true that there are some major problems with our media. And so then what is the reason that sentences like, the media is the enemy of the people, as Trump has said, or talking about in this entity form, the media is horrible, they're lying to you, you can't trust the media. Why is that dangerous? And more importantly, why is that a strategy on the part of people like Kari Lake, like Donald Trump? Well, if you can establish the idea that the media as a whole, meaning all of the places that you could go to get information, are dishonest and are lying to you, then where else does the audience have to go? You're the last remaining person they can go to, or the last entity they can go to. And so I think you should critique, as we quite literally do for a large percentage of this show, media and what they say and the narratives they push, and dishonest media like Fox News. But trying to create this narrative that you cannot trust anyone but me, and not trying to explain how they should know which media is good, which media is bad, is the strategy Trump used, enemy of the people, and Kari Lake uses to say, from now on, there is no reality outside of the one I tell you. I will tell you what is real and what is false. Everything else that contradicts with that is fake news. It is deceiving you. It's propaganda. And what honest people do, what I try to do when covering news and critiquing media, is explain why this is dishonest, using empirical information, using facts, using evidence, and say, you don't have to plug into one outlet, one like news outlet, and just trust everything they say. No, you need to learn yourself. How do you critically think? How do you take evidence, empirical data, statistics, etc., and set that next to the media that you're consuming, and then say, okay, this is on the honest side. So I might tune into them to get quick news so that I kind of know what's going on. But then on important issues, I'm going to make sure I myself go verify independently, not do your own research like go find a Facebook post from your uncle. Do your own research as in use your critical thinking skills to understand what is based in reality, what is something that can be verified through different studying processes, through different analysis batches of research. How do I take that and then fact check the things I watch and then establish a level of trust with those entities? That's what you should promote. But promoting everyone except for what I tell you is bad just because they're bad. They're fake news, they're propaganda, they're deep state, they're the globalists, is the best way you can get a big audience to just watch you and say, whatever you tell me is real. And we experience that. And I mean we, because I'm here with producer Ben, of course, when we go to these Trump rallies and people will say, well, I believe, and now I'm having my headphone cable fall out. I believe that Obama's controlling everything. Oh, interesting. Well, how did you come to that conclusion? What evidence do you have that Obama's controlling everything? Well, I believe it because I was told it. Being told it is the evidence, right? Because they believe the value of information is only the person giving it to them. It is not how connected to reality it is. Does that make sense? And so that's what's being established in a lot of MAGA. And I've seen some, to a lesser extent, kind of very dishonest. They call themselves left wing, but it's a small section of the left that kind of tries to do a similar thing. Everyone's lying to you except for me. And I think that's dangerous. Instead, you can say, here's how you find if something's truth. And I want you as an audience member to compare me to the facts and see if I'm being honest, as well as all the other media you consume. And that's how you're going to understand the world, not just, I'm the only person who can tell you the truth, which is what we hear from so many. And that's why they've decided the media is going to be our biggest enemy, as Kari Lake said in that clip. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the full bonus show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley. Link in the description.